Hey, what's going on? CoinOpTV subscribers, Robert Welkner here with another CoinOpTV live and interactive on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/CoinOpTV. Today we're going to be talking about Titanfall 2, which came out last week for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Windows PC. And we got special co-host, one of CoinOpTV's OG original, well, I don't know about original, but one of the OG contributors, writers, video game producers. It's CJ. Good to see you, sir.
How's it going, Rob?
It's going well. So CJ's been EA, shout outs to them for the game, so we could sort of check that out. So let me give you Titanfall 2 as a first-person shooter video. It's the sequel to Titanfall, which previously was a Windows, PC, and Xbox One exclusive. Now we can play it on the PlayStation Solo, which is new. It's got the multiplayer. It's got some new gimmicks. Let me give quick shout-outs. I see people populate in the chat room. Chawinger and Alamis is in chat. So, CJ, how many hours, have you sort of logged? Have you gone through the campaign yet, all the way?
Yeah, I'm most of the way through the campaign. It's not a very long campaign, but it's really good. It's definitely a lot better than I think a lot of people are expecting. So I don't know if you've jumped into it at all, but it does have a lot more than what I would have expected for their first one. Because, these guys didn't have a campaign on the first game when it originally came out a couple of years ago now on the Xbox. So that was one of the big complaints, and I think they've really nailed putting something in there. And it is the Infinity Ward guys, the X-Team from the Call of Duty franchise, so we know that they can do campaign. So I'm glad to see that they added it, and it's really good. It's actually worth playing this time around.
Yeah, CJ and I were actually talking prior, and I've played about 2 hours of the campaign, and I love the flow, and I love the exploration, and the campaign is just a treat. It's really weird. I've been playing like Battlefield 1 a couple weeks ago, Titanfall 2, and now Call of Duty, and really like big giant plus for the Titanfall 2 campaign. So let's start sort of here. I'll show some campaign footage. So in the campaign, you sort of are this rookie or this new recruit, and you have to adopt things with your BT, your Titan there. So it's all kind of ground roots sort of thing, and there's a good mixture of sort of running and gunning, being in the Titan there. What did you like, the most or the least as far as the campaign goes with the flow of run around, boots on the ground, or Titan combat?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about the campaign, especially when you compare it to some of the other stuff that's been out, is how kind of open it is and how structured it is around the movement concepts of the game. So, you can wall run, you can slide, you can do all this stuff. So they really built the levels with that in mind, and they'll build puzzles for you to kind of navigate around the environment and take out enemies using wall running and all of that, which is very different from even the Call of Duty campaigns. They've added that kind of stuff into Call of Duty these days, but they haven't really made a campaign that's built specifically for those movements. So I think that's something that Respawn did very well with the Titanfall campaign, is just giving you the ability to use these new movement tools you have to get around the environments and take out enemies. And in that dichotomy between that quickness on foot, but then also getting in the Titans and having these big boss battles and these slow kind of lumbering around, taking out other Titans. And I think it really breaks it up well, so you don't do too much of one thing and get too bored doing anything. It all works together very well.
Yeah, I like exactly what you said there. Like, right when you're like, hey, I'm getting tired of shooting guys on foot, it'll say, hey, we sort of need you to jump in the Titan so you can kind of get to the next part. And then once you're in the Titan for a few minutes, it's like, hey, we need you to unlock some switch, so get out of your giant robot there and do that. So, I agree with you on that. Good mixture on that. If they're giving out awards for a good balance and flow, Titanfall 2 story is definitely getting like that. How did you like the new mechanic of sort of having, obviously having a story mode is a new thing for Titanfall 2, and then in addition to that, having sort of this dialogue wheel, where you can sort of select up or down if you want to be snarky or emo with your BT robot.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like that. I don't feel like it really did much in the game. I mean, it gives you a few reply options, and you get a one-liner from your Titan back and forth. But I think if they keep that over into future games, they could expand it a little more and maybe kind of make it, more like Mass Effect or something where you could pick dialogue options that would influence pieces of the game or something like that. But it was an interesting little thing just to get more kind of backstory or chit chat going while you're in the middle. The only thing I found it hard sometimes is they'd say something to you right when you're in the middle of like a wall run. So you got to try to hit the D-pad real quick to make sure you reply, or just ignore the whole thing because it's kind of hard to do all of that at once. But yeah, that stuff I could kind of take or leave, but it did add a little bit of back and forth between the characters.
Yeah, there was a few times actually. I think I was in a firefight, and then like some sort of dialogue thing came up, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm not even paying attention to that.
Yeah.
I'm concentrating on what's ahead of me there." So,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm finding that too. I'm playing the campaign with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. There's some times when you're getting a radio thing in your ear, and you actually take your hand off your gun to hold sort of like, I don't know, your ear for the walkie-talkie or something. And if you're in a firefight, you can't do anything. You're actually like locked into that animation. It's a little weird. You're sort of like, well, wait, what if I want to reload my gun here or something, and you can't. So yeah, it's a little strange. Sometimes they pop that in at sort of strange times. So we're getting a few more people jumping in chat. Henry, TMP, and One Fine Roblex says, long time no see. Cool. So, all right, let's jump over to multiplayer here. So, you're getting two options. You get sort of the single player, which I've heard is 4 to 5 to 6 hours, depending on, I guess, how much exploration. Are you sort of, are you going the route where you're sort of jumping up and looking for the helmets and really trying to be a completist so far with the campaign?
A little bit of both. If I see one, I'll go out of my way to try to get it. But a lot of those are hidden pretty well, and I haven't kind of deviated a whole lot. I think once I get done with this playthrough, I'll go back and kind of do more of that exploration. I don't like doing it a lot during the first playthrough because you're kind of trying to focus on the story and all of that, and you don't want to get sidetracked too much. But yeah, I think this game lends itself well to multiple playthroughs to kind of find some of that hidden stuff, or just because it's fun to play, actually. So, yeah, I'll probably head back through when I get done and try to pick up all of those helmets and whatever else I can find laying around.
Yeah, I got a few helmets, and I do like the jumping up on different ledges. Anytime I can get a similar experience to Portal, then I'm happy because I'm a big Portal fan. So anytime I can sort of jump around, watching a little more of the gameplay, the single player gameplay. Now you've jumped out of BT and you're gonna do some exploring. So let's talk about some of the multiplayer here. Now some comments I've gotten is people say like, hey, they wish BT was in multiplayer. Is that a thing? Is there a way to do BT while you're playing multiplayer, the robot that's in the single player into the multiplayer?
Not that I've found, but I'm sure as they add more content to the game, and I think all the DLC they said will be free, so maybe they'll add the ability to play as him as one of the main Titans instead of the base. I think, what are there, 5 or 6? I think there's 6 now that you can choose from. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them add some things like that, or maybe cross promotion with other games. I already saw that you could get a Battlefield 1 skin for your Titan if you played Battlefield 1 as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, especially because the DLC model is so different from Battlefield, which is another EA kind of published game. So that stuff you have to buy a season pass and all of that. And DICE does really good on all of that, but with Titanfall it's all free. So hopefully they'll add a handful of new Titans and things like that as we go along. We'll have to wait and see though.
Yeah, I'd be curious if Respawn people are listening or watching, or they got the ears to the wind. People want BT in multiplayer. So let's see. We got some Boomtown map multiplayer here. I played some of the beta, and I played a little of this at E3. We got the new Grapple Hook as sort of a new thing. So what was sort of your take? What's your impressions now that you have the Titanfall 2 multiplayer in your hands, in your house? Well, first of all, what are you playing on? You playing on PC? Or PlayStation?
Actually, we're actually on PS4, so that's what I'm. I find Titanfall and like Call of Duty and those to be. I like the controller a little better. And I'm not a big PC fan for that, like I am for Battlefield. That's a little bit slower and more methodical. But yeah, definitely playing on PS4, and so far it's been great. Like you mentioned the beta. I think the main complaint when the beta came out was that they slowed down some of the running a bit, and there are a few kind of weird tweaks that didn't quite feel right, and they've fixed a lot of that. So if you played the beta and haven't and didn't really want to pick up the full game because it felt slower or something, definitely give the game a shot because they've done a lot to fix that stuff. But overall, yeah, the multiplayer is really good. There's great maps. I think the maps are a lot better than even that beta map was because there's close quarters, but then there's these big open areas for the Titans to fight in. And just giving you the ability to pick from more Titans and unlock more things like skins and different guns and stuff has helped kind of give it more depth. And that was one of the main complaints with the first game was there was no real depth to it once you unlocked, the handful of things that they added. So yeah, so far it's been really good, and it's definitely probably been my favorite multiplayer of the year, even with Battlefield 1 out, which is also very good.
Yeah, it's been an interesting month. Like I was saying earlier, Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare all in like a same 30-day window. Great if you love shooters and if you're rich, but I think, unfortunately, I think Titanfall 2 is going to sort of slip through the cracks on a lot of these people. They need to have like a big Black Friday sale for Titanfall 2, maybe to like give it like a boost and push people over the edge with things, right?
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate the way EA decided to put that out, right 2 weeks after their other big shooter. And I think it competes well with Call of Duty, but when you have three right in a row, people have to kind of pick which one they want to go with. And Battlefield 1 was out first, so a lot of people may have bought that and are waiting on Titanfall. So I bet there'll be some deals as they go along, and I think that community will stay around. So it should pick up some steam, but it definitely was kind of weird timing on the whole marketing of how EA planned their releases this year.
Yeah, very perplexing on that for sure. So we're looking at some Eden multiplayer map gameplay here. So we're talking about the story and the campaign, and now we're talking about the multiplayer. So what's your impression of sort of the graphics and the sounds of Titanfall 2?
I think it's a pretty good looking game. I mean, coming from Battlefield 1 on PC, it's kind of a big jump because, of course, PC is always going to have a little bit more power. But Titanfall, the way they do the art direction, it does look very nice. And I think we were discussing earlier, the PlayStation 4 Pro is coming out later this week, and it looks like they've improved graphical capabilities for that, even for people without 4K displays. So we should see a little bit more improvement. On PC, it looks really good as well from what I've seen. So it's not a bad looking game at all, and the sounds are all right on point with something you'd expect from the developer that used to do Call of Duty. You've got, and when you get headshots, you get a nice little noise, and you've got all these little pings and everything to let you know you're hitting people. So they definitely know what they're doing when it comes to sound design and kind of interactions between players.
In chat, Trowinger is asking what BT is. That's what the name of the giant Titan is in the single player. His name is BT. Do you remember the numbers? It's like BT.
Yeah, it's like 7959 or something. I can't remember. They never actually say. They say it like 2 times in that whole campaign. So
yeah. So when I say BT, I'm referring to that's the name of the robot, the giant Titan that's in the single player there. So what about is this game sort of faithful to the franchise? Or did you play the first Titanfall? Like how are things sort of elevated or not elevated as far as like story and lore and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it does a very good job. I mean, the first one obviously didn't have a single player to it. So, like I said in the beta, the main complaints were that it felt slower than the first game. But they've kind of come out and fixed that, and it definitely feels like they took what the first game was and just expanded on it a lot, which is what they really needed to do, because there wasn't a lot of content in the first game. So they've added obviously the single player, which is very good. They've added a whole bunch more weapons, more Titans, unlocks like guns, skins. You can get different skins for your Titans. You can skin your pilot that runs around on foot. All of your weapons. There's a ton to unlock and a ton of stuff to do. A handful of different game modes. The newest one that was featured in the beta is the one where you kind of kill people and you get money as you do it, and then you got to go store it in a bank every so often. That's been interesting to play, and I think they've just done well to kind of take what the first game did well and expand it. So give people more of what they wanted, and that's really all they needed to do. That's kind of what people were looking for out of the first game. So yeah, I think they've done a great job.
So have you found, you mentioned the map or the mode where you have to sort of store money in the bank. I remember when I was playing that in the beta, I was thinking, oh no, there's going to be bank campers, people camping out around the banks. Have you encountered that? People hanging around the banks trying to shoot you?
Not too much, because if they do that, then they really aren't gathering money themselves. So it'll happen once those banks open. You'll see a mad rush for the banks, and you might run into an enemy player there that throws a grenade out and kills 6 people. But most of them are pretty good about moving around the maps, using their Titans, trying to kill the waves of enemies that spawn that get you the money. So if you just sit by the bank, I don't think you're going to make enough to win the game type unless your whole team sits by both of them, which I haven't run into yet. So it's been pretty good. I mean, most people haven't really been griefing a whole lot, or like Call of Duty where you see one guy sitting clear out in the corner of the map trying to snipe everybody. So it's been good.
We got a few more people jumping in chat. Ron and Mikey, shouts to you guys. So we're seeing some of your gameplay with the Grapple Hook here. So let's talk about the Grapple Hook. Have you mastered it? Are you now a Master Assassin, Batman? Are you all these superhero things? I feel like have come together with the Grapple Hook. What's your take on that? Is this a cheap thing? Is this a great thing?
I think it's a really good addition. The only thing I would say to it, if any of those developers are listening, that needs to be on every class. So the way you pick, when you go to set up your character, you get to pick different core abilities. So there's like a stim pack that makes you run faster. There's the grappling hook. There's a few others. So the only thing I was disappointed with is I think the grappling hook just needs to be a base ability for each of the classes, so everybody has it. Because it does work really well. It takes some skill to get used to, because there's a little slack in the line. It's not just an immediate zap right to a point. But it's only on the class if you pick it. So you kind of have to forego something else if you want to use that grappling hook a lot, which does get you out of situations. And it lets you grapple onto enemy Titans and pull out their batteries and do a lot of damage. So it's good to have a couple people in each round playing as that class.
Yeah, I remember when I was playing the beta, there was one of the ones that kind of made you like a little fast-running ghost thing or something like that for a perk or whatever it was, and I was like, give me the grappler back again. So I agree with you on that. We like the grapple hook for everything. Cool. Let me see. Let me look at my notes here and see if there's anything else. So, so should people get this now? Is this is this a buy or wait? Like we were sort of joking around about Black Friday sales and stuff. I mean, if you have any money left from Battlefield 1, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, how do things kind of stand with purchases and stuff like that?
I would say, yeah. I mean, if you're a big shooter person, I would say if you have $120, get Battlefield 1 and Titanfall, because it's going to give you 2 really good shooters, but they're different enough that it's not going to, you're not going to get bored of both of them at the same time. But, with the release window, especially over the next month, you have games like Final Fantasy coming out, which is, hundreds of hours. You've got, what do we got coming up next week? I think we got
Watch Dogs 2 and Dishonored 2 are big ones.
Dishonored 2 is the big one, yeah. So Watch Dogs, people are going to have a big open world game, and so there's a lot coming out. So if you have to wait to Black Friday, that's only, a month away. You can do that. But if you're looking for 2 really good shooters you can jump in and play a couple rounds, Battlefield 1 and Titanfall are definitely, I think, the 2 you would pair together so far from what I've seen. So yeah, Titanfall is a very, very good game, very good second effort from a brand new studio made up of people that kind of know what they're doing in the shooter space. These guys made... And it's funny because with Call of Duty, if you buy that special edition, you get the Call of Duty 4 remastered, which a lot of those people are now at Respawn working on Titanfall. So it's very interesting to see how those are going to go up against each other. But I think you can kind of see where the majority of the talent kind of went to Respawn, develop this new kind of idea that fits in between Call of Duty and Battlefield, and really put it out there. And I think they've done a good job for a second effort here.
Yeah, we're definitely getting... it is interesting, like you say, like when you get the Modern Warfare remastered, it's like the I mean, obviously a new team. I think Raven sort of remastered, but it's all like theories and principles from the original Respawn guys and girls. So we'll see. It seems like the video game landscape is just ever changing. Just when you get used to a game company, people move away. Just when you get used to a console, they've released the PlayStation 4 Pro and Scorpio and the Switch. So I guess we're living in the age now where it seems like every couple of years, the times are changing and everything. So, all right, CJ. Well, thanks, for talking us through some of your stuff there. Follow him on Twitter, twitter.com/deadlycyclone, and we'll have his full review up on the website, CoinOpTV, so you can check that out as well. And all right, well, hey, thanks a bunch, all you watching on the live stream. If you guys are watching this on the archive, and you have a question or a comment, or maybe if you have a best class or best Titan or map or something like that, let us know in the comments so we can kind of chat about it after this video archives. I think that's it for today for CoinOpTV. We'll see you guys next time.